Hoshimi shows them the scale. My best guess is that we're dealing with white kobolds, which most likely means white dragon. But that's just a guess.
Could also be silver too.
Aren't metallic dragons good in nature, though? That's what I've heard.
I mean, they say
There are
chromatic
exceptions to every rule.
Yeah.
Exactly. They say chromatic dragons are evil, but there were chromatic dragons fighting on UAA's side during the Battle of Camelus, so...
There were?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. Long story. There was a large battle against Drow.
Save it for later.
Yes, of course.
All right.
Please do save it for later. I would love to hear more.
I've got the full story in very big detail if you want to hear it at some point.
I wasn't
Oh,
alive
yeah,
at that
you
time.
No, yeah,
Okay, Hoshimi just looks over at Adrian with the, did you have to say that? Look.
So Shylin smirks and he just looks over at Adrian and says, Adrian Tanlio, you are now thinking about your parents conceiving. Have fun with that.
Adrian just shakes it off, really.
Sepin's just looking amongst them and is like, what does that mean?
Let's go to bed.
I'll tell you when
I
you're older,
believe it
Seven.
is the course in which a child is conceived, granting.
This stork, right?
Bye, Owen.
Look at how pretty the water is. It's so pretty.
Owen.
Okay.
To be honest, yes, it is.
So I think this would probably be a good point for everyone to go to sleep, and I believe Flint wanted to tell Boulder a story.
This is a
Yeah.
story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down.
So you'd like to take a minute, just sit right there?
It will take longer than a minute.
I'll tell you how I got this crazy sparked up blonde hair.
Okay, good.
Okay, that was good. That was really good.
I hadn't heard
Okay,
that one
so-
before. Well done.
All right, so Flint, tell Boulder a story.
Ooh, please do.
Wait, okay, so hang on before we get started. Where are we sleeping? And I need to roll a crafting check to make dinner.
Okay, so there in all the houses, there's enough beds to go around.
Okay.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 beds in each. There's 4 beds in the bottom house and 3 in the top.
So divide women in one house, men in the other.
I
Oh, when
sleep
it
on
goes
the ground outside.
To stand for that, she's guarding whichever house has the most people.
All right.
Do you ever sleep?
Speaking of which, Shylin said you're going to do something that evening.
I'm a light sleeper.
Hoshimi looks out at the water, and she's kind of looking at any fish that might be... Whoops, okay. So you're so freaked out from the image of Adrian's parents conceiving that you kind of burn the food.
I'm sure glad I don't eat.
Just someone else do it. I'm sorry.
I have a... okay, I was actually going to go somewhere with what I was saying. She's looking out at the water, and are there any fish visible?
Yes.
Have any of you heard of a food called sushi? Yeah, laugh it up.
I've had salmon, but I've never had it prepared like that.
I've never eaten, though I do
Right.
enjoy being told of how food preparation goes about.
Afraid I've never really enjoyed seafood.
What's seafood?
Fish, anything that comes from water.
Do you require fish from the mountains lakes?
Yes, please.
Please allow me. And GM, if I may, can Boulder just walk into the water, sinking down, and roll survival to just grab some fish?
Yes.
Like he'll walk
Wouldn't that
down
be-
like
Wouldn't
into
that be super effective damage, though?
against me, yes. But I imagine he'll just like walk down, submerge himself, and stand perfectly still as just rocks. And then as soon as a fish swims by, he'll just like grab it.
Salmon
Yeah.
located.
All right. Survival check, please.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That's a 4.
Although, to be fair, you have a really good survival check.
I
you
sure
caught 4
do.
fish.
That is the reason that he actually succeeds.
Hey, let's go. That coyote cloak saving the day.
Yeah, that modifier literally.
Now it's just really damp.
Yeah, that coyote cloak was literally the difference between success and failure.
So yeah, Boulder walks in and like 5 minutes later walks out with like a couple of fish just like in his pebble fingers.
So yeah, you remember like how Alphonse caught fish in Full Metal Alchemist? Same deal.
Do we really need all of those?
He got how many?
He got like half a dozen fish.
Jeez, alright.
Okay, I'm imagining that the coyote cloak made the difference because a small squirrel swam by. He whirled his cloak around and like bagged them and is carrying them up.
Yeah.
Flint.
Huh?
Just wondering, would you be upset if a pike got the fish, or or a hunt, or a river eagle, some other animal?
Yeah. In some cases, it's just the circle of life, but it's when someone takes more than they need that I get a little angsty.
Flint, there are literally 7 of us.
And some of us will probably need to eat more than others, he says, giving a head tilt towards 7.
As long as you guys eat the whole fish and don't waste it, it's fine.
Eh,
I promise you there will be no food wasted.
Do you
I swallow it
require-
whole.
Oh.
Fish, 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 fish.
Do you require more?
I think
No, that'll be
Actu-
plenty.
No, that I perhaps one more.
I will go get one more, but it'll still take some time because I need to sit still long enough for them to swim around me.
That's fine.
Okay.
did the rock just sound petulant?
All right, so go ahead for. Okay, so we'll tie that into your other survival check, Flint.
Okay.
Now, now that we can do this now, Flint, tell Boulder a story.
Oh boy. But before this does happen, Flint actually does just kind of stamp his foot while he goes to get the other fish because he remembers the conversation he had with like Shiloh and what's his name? It's like, it's for the good of the party, it's for the good of the party, it's for the good of the party, it's just one fish, it's for the good of the party, it's just one fish. And then when he has it, it's like, okay. But anyway, time to tell my story.
I smell like damp coyote fur thanks to my cloak being wet.
So, you know the reason I was able to identify you as a golem pretty much
Because
immediately?
You are intelligent.
Well, okay, there's 2 reasons I was able to identify you as a golem.
Okay, what is the second reason?
Because I half knew a golem in a way.
Please, go on.
When you talked about your creator and experimenting and everything like that, I just immediately got visions of my old partner. He wasn't full golem, he was only half. And if you could believe it, the first time I met him was a little bit of a bombing accident. Actually, when we were... You see, I spend a lot of time in nature, and the first place I was really used to spending time was the forest near my home village. I would talk to the animals, I would just kind of lay there, and, we all kind of got together and just maybe sunned ourselves on a rock, or sat by the river and just kind of enjoyed nature for a while. It's calming. It doesn't... nobody laughs at you, nobody judges you, everything just kind of goes by, and nobody can say anything. But anyway, one day I was testing out some things, and I actually made one of my bombs, because I'm kind of tend to tinker every now and then, and I threw it. And it was way more powerful than I thought it would be. And then I went to go see if any animals were hurt when I threw it. But what I found was this old guy with scorch marks all over his body. He held up the shrapnel from the bomb and just said, "Hey, is this yours?" I said, "Yeah, I threw that. Are you okay?" And he said, "Yeah, it just happens every now and then, It's just nature. But no, I can't say I've ever expected to find this in nature." I wanted to find out what his name was, but I looked at his lab coat, and he had a name tag, but only certain letters were visible. The only things I could see on his lab coat was FLEK. And I asked him, "Do you remember what your name was?" And he said, "I don't have the foggiest idea." So I took those 4 letters that were left on his lab coat and I said, "Fleck?" Yeah, I call myself. And I actually went to go... I asked him what was he doing here, and he actually told me he was working on some experiments on animals that lived in the forest. At first I was kind of nervous because, experimenting on animals, that just seems terrible, but then he showed me exactly what he did. He brought me to his laboratory, which was in this old hollowed out tree. And he showed me the work that he did. Basically what he did was he took animals who couldn't fend for themselves. Maybe they had a broken leg or a smaller leg or some kind of deformity or something strange like that. And he actually made them better. Or maybe if the animal was in an environment that wasn't suitable to them, he would maybe give them a little boost. Maybe a squirrel could climb a tree faster, or a duck could swim a little bit faster. And everything he did was to just help everybody. You see Flint kind of look down a little bit as he remembers what he did with his friend.
And this man, you spent extended time with him?
That's an understatement. Every time I went back to the forest at that point, it was just me and him. Picking up animals from different biomes and just kind of working on them and helping them. In fact, if it wasn't for our little journeys, and then he actually takes Zoo out of his hair, I wouldn't have my second closest friend. He gives Zoo little pets and she nuzzles up against his finger. I actually found Zoo while we were doing our work, and we bonded almost immediately. Every time.
Boulder holds out a hand to Zoo and says, "Greetings, small child. Tell me, are you happy?" And could I possibly use wild empathy to roll diplomacy with Zoo?
Go for it. Hang on, what?
That's the like rocks.
Let's just say Zoo's a little afraid because she's not used to him yet.
Big rock.
I just had a thought. Hello, small child. How dare you, sir? I am 33 years old. You have shaved my family. Dishonor on you.
I just tried to be nice.
Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow, dishonor on your whole family.
Oh my gosh.
You have offended the Rata.
And she
That's
actually
blasphemy.
she kind of scurries back into Flint's hands, and it's like, it's not your fault. She gets kind of scared from other creatures.
Yes. Anyway, please continue your story.
Well, anyway, we were doing our usual rounds looking for animals who needed help, and I found this little white rat in a hollowed out tree trunk, and she was so terrified. She wouldn't even want to leave the tree. She was scared to death. I didn't know what it could have been, predators or something, but we actually brought her to the lab. We caged her, and we tried to see if maybe we can do something to make her a little more confident. We couldn't find anything, but the longer the time she spent in the lab, the more time we actually got to spend together. I would play around with her in the cage. She'd always jump right up as soon as I came over because she wanted to see me. We'd actually play a little game called Finger Snake where I would put my finger in the cage. It's like, oh, it's trying to get you, it's trying to get you. And she would run all around the cage. And I even got to name her. We found her in biome... Out of all the biomes, we lettered them, and I found her in Biome Z, Segment U, so that's what I called her. I called her Zoo. She's kind of taken a permanent residence in my hair at this point.
I can see that. Tell me, this creator of yours that you know, this scientist, did he experiment with more than animals?
He dabbled a little bit. It was mostly animals because that was the thing that made him happy. He, like me, he was a hybrid, and he didn't like the fact that biology basically told him to screw off. And I felt the exact same way, and he said, you know what? That's one of the beauties of alchemy. When nature does something you don't like, you can change it around. You can control your own destiny. Doesn't matter what you are anymore, it's what you can make. But I had never seen him make any golems or humanoid creatures before.
It's about what you can make. But what if you cannot make anything? What if you are already made?
I mean, I always took his words to heart because the way I'm made just caused me pain. Neither of us liked the way we were made. We didn't choose to be made like this. And we figured if we could find other creatures who felt the same way as we did, the ones that didn't have a choice, the ones who were made in the way that they just couldn't live the right way, we had to help them.
I often wonder if I wanted this. if I wanted to be made of rocks and stones, because I am happy. I enjoy the life I live on the mountain. I enjoy the stories I hear from travelers. Almost as if I chose this life. This benevolent friend of yours, if someone or something wanted a life like that, would he have granted them it?
I imagine he would. He just wanted people to live their best life. And if that was what they thought they wanted to do, then that's what he would have done.
There are days I wish my past memories weren't as clouded as they are. I remember nothing before the Creator. I remember very little of him. Sometimes I wish there was more to know. Other times, I'm quite happy with the things I do know. Never get lost in what could be. Don't forget about what is.
Well, what is Flint. And honestly, what I have so far I like, and if I keep going, I think I'm gonna like what I find.
Then I say keep going, Flint, and do not stop for any reason. Thank you for your story. I appreciate it and look forward to learning more of your companions in the future.
Thanks for listening. I don't share my story much with a lot of people, but it feels kind of nice to talk about it.
Everyone needs an ear to speak to, and just because I have none, doesn't mean I can't act as one.
Well, if I keep talking in this voice, Hoshimi's gonna make sure I don't have any ears left either.
I do believe it is in your best interest not to speak like that around them. They don't seem to appreciate it.
Duly noted.
And yeah, Boulder's just gonna relax down by the tree.
And Zoo actually crawls out of Flint's hair and actually jumps on his shoulder now.
Okay, Hoshimi comes from between the trees. As she's walking by, I could hear you, Cloaker Man.
Dang it!
I told you.
Note to self: get some extra strength earmuffs or something to protect my ears.
Yeah. All right. So, it's been about 2.5 hours. What do you say we take a break?
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Sure.
Okay. So, it is now the next morning. All right.
Boulder's simply waiting outside, ready for whenever the group is prepared to move on.
All right. A couple of you are very slowly roused back into being awake. Fortunately, it is very cold, and these sleeping bags are very comfy.
Is the sword protecting Adrian from the cold?
Yes.
Sweet.
I can't believe I actually.
You're just able to wake up, and other people are just all bundled up, and you're very confused.
Yeah. Don also wakes up too, and he's like, I can't believe I actually missed waking up in this cold.
Hoshimi is very, very curled up in the sleeping bag.
Flint is actually in his, like, kind of sitting up in his sleeping bag, bed style, and he's actually using his fire breath to warm his hands.
Seven was smart and snuggled up next to Adrian.
Aw.
Yeah.
Owen was up on the roof the whole time, but because she was so focused on keeping guard, she forgot her sleeping bag.
Uh-oh, she go-
Okay, well, that's the case. You suffer for your art, honey. You really do.
Well, I might actually be able to help with that.
What do I have to roll then? What?
Is she sick?
One minute.
He's just getting stuff ready.
Boop.
Oof.
Oh boy.
Oh dear. Well, at least it wasn't a 12.
Yeah, unfortunately, you did not get good enough sleep, and you are fatigued.
Oh. I thought she was gonna get like frostbite or something.
No.
Yeah, I was worried about that too.
Yeah.
Alright,
take
so what does
cold damage.
fatigue do?
Give me one
I think it's
sec.
-1. Yeah, -1 to AC and saving throws.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand.
Yes, it's a great role play, honey, but sorry, I don't want to come across like I'm trying to punish you. It's just like, darn it, but this.
I'm
is
not
the-
mad.
I respect it.
I'm seriously not mad. I mean, it's something that Olwen would do. She is
It's
like-
what my character would do.
okay. So, no, that's in case you don't know, Olwen's a cop. She would be the kind of cop who would mainline caffeine.
So were you like staying up? Or were you inside or outside the building all night?
I was on the roof. I'm a sniper.
About 2 or 3 hours into the middle of the night, Boulder actually would have gotten up, I think, because automatons only need 2 hours of standby instead of sleep. So I think he actually would have approached, unless you were like, were you like hidden on the roof, or were you just sitting there keeping watch?
Sitting there keeping watch.
Then yeah, I think he would have walked over and just sort of kind of quizzically asked just,
Why do you sleep on the roof?
I don't usually, okay, so I wasn't, planning on, okay, I was planning on sleeping, but, I do it because, someone needs to watch out for it, and especially since the other people who were here got kind of dragged off, we don't know when or how, I want to at least have some sort of lookout.
That is incredibly selfless of you, but why not trade shifts with your allies, allowing yourself to get a full night's rest?
They don't have guns?
Fair point, but neither do I.
To be honest, it just kind of really didn't occur to me. They were all sleeping, and I was fine, so I just took care of it. No big deal.
You are striving to protect them. It is heroic.
Could, sorry.
So, so she's very pale, tiefling. I don't know if you've seen a picture of her.
Mhm.
She's no longer pale. She is very, very pink.
Tell me, if you are going to stay up into the night, perhaps you could pay me now. Tell
Oh.
me a story.
Oh, sure. You can do the story now. Okay. So, once upon a time, there is, a cult, running around a big city. And they didn't like, tieflings or people who marry tieflings. I have a brother. His name's Reinhardt. And he's married to his childhood sweetheart named Julia. She's very lovely, and I've known her since, I was like 8 or so. She is. I like her a lot, and so does obviously my brother. But so they got married a few years ago. They were very happy. Reinhardt took over her family's tailor shop, and they were gonna have a baby. Until one day, members of the cult, the Scions of Heronius, took her away, and I was put on the case. Not, solo, because, I did have personal conflicts, but it fell into my department, organized crime. We had had dealings with the cult before. My sergeant was in charge of the case, but he brought me with him because, I was best suited for it. And so, we went and found where they were holding her and some other women who were married to local tieflings. And all of them had been mutilated in one form or another because they were carrying devil spawn. My sister-in-law. Yes?
No, please, go on.
My sister-in-law, Julia, she, her face is all carved up now. But she's, alive. We managed to take out the people who were doing some sort of ritual, and based on the Inquisitor's report that we received later, they were trying to do some sort of ritual that would be similar to what Princess Simula did a few hundred years ago. Teleporting the devil spawn out of the mother. But it didn't work, because we got to them in time. And, but my sister-in-law's okay, and she has my niece. Her name's Lissa. She's 4. She's very cute. Although, she may be 5 now, I think. No, her birthday's coming up. I was gone for 6 months. And so,
Why do these people deem some children unworthy of life?
It's, these Scions of Heronius don't think tieflings should... They don't like tieflings. They think that no matter the sanctification we go through or the fact that we were liberated, we're still going to be evil, and we're still going to... half-breeds that they have children with, or the children of them that are half-breeds are tainted by
But
devil blood.
If you yourself are such a tiefling, and have treated me with such respect and trust, how could they believe all of your kind are evil?
Well, you've met... I'm just one of many. And unfortunately, a lot of people judge the one by the many. Or they judge based on old prejudices. See, the thing is that a tiefling queen followed Heronius. They don't care about that. They actually hate her. They think that Heronius was wrong to have trusted her. I don't understand why. Never really understood it, but that's why they're a cult and not, people that are to be respected or looked up to.
Precautions I would understand, but to assume that all of one kind of person are the same is simply foolish. Even the wild animals of the forest and the mountains. Sure, you approach a wild wolf and you take precautions.
But if we were to simply kill all of the wild wolves in the world, nature would be imbalanced. Why would they simply kill all of a specific type of person?
Because they don't think they deserve to live?
These people are misguided.
That's perhaps the nicest way to put it, yes. I would agree.
I apologize for having you dig up such unpleasant memories, but I am also grateful for the story you shared with me. Thank you.
It's not necessarily... I mean, it was a nice... It led to nicer memories. Just because, some people don't like what I am, there are some people who do. Like Julia and, my niece, Lissa. She actually likes being part tiefling. She likes her tail. And, not everybody's gonna be like that. Just some. Just the same way that, we shouldn't judge all of the people by what some people do. I can't judge everybody by what those people did.
Agreed. Every creature on this planet is its own being. From the simplest insect to the smartest wizard. They are each their own.
Just like you are the only, I can't say you're the only boulder, but like you're the only you boulder.
Boulder kind of cracks that weird smile-ish movement of his pebbles.
I am glad your niece is alive.
Oh, I wish I had my picture of her. I left it at home because I like to travel light. I wish I could show it to you.
It is okay. I imagine she looks vaguely like you, albeit slightly different.
Yeah, she's a lot smaller and, she's actually a little darker. She hasn't been sanctified yet. She doesn't have to be, obviously, but that's a choice for her to make later down the line.
The fact you give her the option shows your respect to her life.
For sure. I got sanctified because they wouldn't let me be in the police force without it, so I kind of had a good reason.
I'm glad you are able to follow this passion of yours.
So was that all last night, basically?
Yeah.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Okay, just double checking. Now we can go on to the morning where Owen is groggy and in desperate need of caffeine.
Okay.
Question.
Yes.
Whereabouts would they have been talking? Because, I don't know if
Well-
Shine would have heard that.
If you were practicing over by the pier, Boulder would have been up on the roof where she is, so Shylin wouldn't have been able to see that.
Or here. Yep.
All right.
Good.
So I've been watching I've been reading the text chat as things have been going on.
I had not. Whoops.
Yeah. So.
So can I actually Sorry, Josh.
Yeah. So do you guys want to continue the text chat in person, or would you?
Yeah, let's do it in person because I need to actually say what the word means.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, after Zoo brings Hoshimi her shoes, the hand retreats. There's some shuffling in the sleeping bag, and then her human face pops out. No, Flint, you don't get to see me half transformed.
So I'm gonna say that Shylin arrives in the scene. Does Hoshimi still need help getting up?
She's fine.
I'm awake,
Okay.
but I hate the cold. Why?
Oh, no reason. Just So you hear a clang and a sloshing of water outside the door. I brought something to help.
Okay, Hoshimi disappears back into the bag, and then out pops a set of fangs.
Flint is actually using his Flint because Adrian gave Flint Owen's sleeping bag. He's actually using his fire breath to warm it up for her, so it's all set for her when she comes back.
Yeah, and you hear like him give a sigh. Stima Fline.
Gesundheit?
It's Elvish for mystery from darkness.
That's where I've heard it.
That sounds awesome!
Right.
I'm sorry, did I miss something? Context?
Something that popped in my mind regarding, Flynn's having that whole, drawing characters of us, so I thought it needed a name, and I had, 9 different names on here. I had, Divergence, The Displaced, Ragtag Band of Random People, one I was actually kind of hoping, it's called Shadow Hunters. I thought that would be a little on the nose. I think I was thinking Clue Finders, but I think that name's already been taken.
Usually when I can't decide between a bunch of cool names, I tend to say them aloud in a voice and see which one sounds cool.
There is a growl in Flint's direction.
Voice?
And he actually sneaks into his sleeping bag, and you only see his eye. He looks at Adrian. You only see his eyes, and then he slowly just says, "Mystery of darkness."
Yeah, that's it. Hoshimi leaps out of her sleeping bag and goes snapping at his.
Anyway,
Sean's gonna get in the way.
Anyway, you're saying Shay.
Well, first of all, voice. Did you watch that TV show too?
Oh wait, which one?
Shadow Hunters?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, never mind. But Charlene does say to Flint while he's trying to basically hold off a snarling Hoshimi, Flint, I was thinking of a name for the two of us the other day.
I'm all ears until she rips them off.
I was just thinking. What about Techno and the Blade?
I want to hurt you very badly. And Dogi will too as soon as he sees this episode.
As soon as Hoshimi's basically done attacking Flint, he's still in his sleeping bag, and you see him slowly raise his journal out with a trembling arm. I'm totally writing that down.
he basically just gives a thumbs up.
Current company. You know exactly what you did, Shay.
Oh, I know exactly what I did.
Anyways, let's continue on because we still only have about a half hour, 45 minutes.
But yes,
hour max.
I was gonna say, did Owen come into the thing yet?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's inside.
She finds the coffee.
She is. Yeah, she sniffed out the coffee. She's a cop. She could do that.
Okay.
Even though all the people were gone, you did set of horses strangely managed to remain untouched.
Interesting.
So you decide to keep the horses lest someone else grab them.
And so they don't starve.
Yes. So,
Yeah, horse theft is totally benevolent.
in this case, it would be.
Yeah.
Alright, moving on.
All right, so moving on, it's about another day of just, really walking and talking and nothing really, too exciting, nothing really too exciting happens until when you get, to a particular valley, you notice a fog cloud start to move in.
Uh-oh.
Is this a normal occurrence on the mountain?
It is a normal occurrence on the mountain.
Okay. Like, is this specific area almost always foggy, or is it like a time of day kind of thing?
It happens a lot during this time of year. It's very scattered across the mountain.
Okay.
Watch out.
And yes, and you're feeling, and Boulder, you're feeling a little nervous about this because fog drastically reduces visibility.
Watch out, wary travelers. Giant flying sheep. Those are clouds. No.
I urge the lot of us to stay closer than we have been.
Of course.
The fog is a natural occurrence. It is not cause for fear. However, things are more likely to sneak up while the fog has settled.
Hoshimi's gonna spread the lights around to give them a wider berth of vision.
All right, so you're sending out the lights, and all right, wait 1 second, and so yeah, the fog is starting to get a little the fog's starting to get a little dense, and off to the side you do see that there is a cliff trail that does go above the fog, but you're not super sure but it doesn't look like 100% safe. And the path forward is still through the myths, but you also see a cave to the right that you could use to maybe wait it out. So,
Oh boy.
As Boulder, is there any path that I usually take?
usually if it's just you usually just if it's usually you usually just find a safe place to wait it out because you have all the time in the world. You're not paid. But some people are some people are usually impatient, and they usually need to get somewhere as fast as they can. So usually you take them forward through the mists unless they feel dexterous enough to navigate a tiny cliffside.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Adrian, Flint, Hoshimi,
Yes.
Sybil. Could your magic be used to make a small gust of wind keep the fog at least
I
far
don't
enough
have that
away from
ability.
Neither do I.
Most I could do is blow
Simple.
fire, so
Wait. Boulder, you used magic before when Flint was crossing the bridge. Do you have anything like that?
I am afraid the only kind of gust spell I have affects a very small radius around myself. Everything else I do is far more stone-focused.
We had some way to keep our vision up, or at least alert
Hey.
as we had something on our back.
It's almost like I planned this.
Hey,
I'm going to
Well,
assume that Hoshimi's dancing light spell is not quite sufficient for the group.
the fact that the fog was getting dense made me decide. Yep. Okay, it's cave time.
On
Okay.
a normal pass-through, I would wait for the fog to pass. Are the lot of you in a rush? Shaylin, you seem
I am. Yes,
Urgent.
we are.
to pass through.
Yes,
So,
we are.
we
We're investigating.
basically just need a very bright light, something bigger than dancing lights, right?
that would help. Yeah.
Okay.
It-
I'm curious, Josh, how effective would this be?
Ooh.
That doesn't look like it lights anything up.
It does. It says it sheds bright light in the spell's area and dim light to twice that area.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's further down, I see.
Yeah.
But...
So,
As long as nobody's attempting any heal spells, I don't see that it would be too much of an issue, personally.
Oh,
That
come
would let us get
on!
this far.
I don't actually need to use spells, so I can actually heal people normal, so that would help.
well,
I need spells.
Only healing spells.
I can pick up the slack.
And if it keeps us from getting ambushed, it would keep us from not. It might mean we don't have to use spells and healing spells in the first place.
yeah, unfortunately, 7, the raptor eye only functions in bright light and the fog is obscuring your sight.
Roger.
Yeah.
Does
Send,
my bright light give her raptor eye effectiveness?
It sheds bright light in the spell's area. So
Okay.
if people were around you, they could very much see you, but they'd have to huddle around you, and yeah.
Let's see here.
I highly
Once per
recommend
turn,
waiting
starting
out
on the
the
turn
mist.
after you use the Reaper's Lantern, you can use a single action, which has the Concentrate trait, to increase the emanation's radius by 5 feet. And I can keep doing that.
Up to 1 minute. And I
So-
think you're going to be walking for a little bit longer than a minute.
Okay.
So maybe we should wait.
Cool. It's a cool idea, but unfortunately, the rules are not in your favor.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Then. It seems like people want to wait it out, so I will
If
abstain.
we do wait it out, how long will we be waiting?
Yeah, let's ask God what the weather is.
I mean, I imagine I'd know the
I
like
was-
minimum
yeah, I
to
was asking
maximum
Boulder.
time the fog
I-
would rest.
Yeah, I was asking Boulder that.
Well, since Boulder. Okay, so
Can I roll survival to know exactly about roughly?
So yes, anyone who is trained in survival can roll this, but Boulder gets a +2 bonus because he is from the area.
Hey, does that stack with my coyote cloak?
Yes.
Ah, that was good.
Wait a minute. These are fine.
The deadly 12.
Each.
Oh!
Hey, did you know that I roll a lot of ones? I wasn't joking!
You got the bonus too.
Yes,
Dang
he
it.
said those who are trained. You're untrained.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm
It's
so
there.
upset, but they still did better than me!
Oh.
I told Josh a month ago I roll more ones than anybody I know.
Keeping with the
Okay.
channel gimmick.
Okay, so yeah, it feels like, yeah, it's okay.
You roll
so
more
the
ones than
game is
Ash
seeming a
rolls
lot more
20.
meaningful. Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm sure the mist will pass in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's like Boulder. Unfortunately, yeah, it's like you don't know. As soon as the mists come, you usually just kind of nap.
I say
And
we
speaking-
all go to bed.
And what about
And
the other
speaking
three?
of, oh sorry.
All right.
Um,
Unfortunately, you do know that it's got probably going fog like this. If Flint and Adrian had to make educated guesses, that probably take like maybe at least a few hours.
Okay. Because okay, so he said, okay, the best thing we could do is just take a nap. So Flint actually says, and speaking of nap, he whips out Owen's sleeping bag like it's a weapon, and he stands there. It's like, you're under arrest for violating sleep parole. Get in the bag.
You know what? I'm not even gonna argue.
Get in the back.
Get in the bag.
Get in the bag, Owen.
Okay.
Get in the
Because
bag.
he warmed it up
Gee.
with his fire bread, so it's nice and toasty in there.
Oh,
Oh,
what?
Okay.
Get
Okay.
back.
So, since we're gonna be waiting it out, there like I said, there is something that I want to do with that has to do with Sybil.
All right,
Good point.
just let me move you to the next map.